Hey everybody, welcome back to those who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. I'm Adele Vine, intuitive and medium. All right guys, so we're gonna go down some rabbit holes. Yeah, some rabbit holes. Well, we're just gonna go down like maybe a couple. I wanted to kind of jump into the subject that has been coming up a lot. People have talked about a lot. So I was gonna share my experience about astral projection. I know I did a video about what is astral projection, but because this has come up a lot in DMs and I've gotten emails and there's a lot of TikToks about it, a lot of misinformation, I thought I'd share my experience of astral projection. And even I've taught a class on it, but let's just clear the air about all of it. So first of all, astral projection, at least in my experience, is when you pop out of the body and you go around this earthly realm. It is this earthly realm. So you're not going to another dimension, like in the Twilight Zone. You're not going into a book. You're not going into other places. Yeah, I know, book, because I've seen some videos on people going into Harry Potter books and things. You aren't going into other places. It's when you are coming out of your consciousness and you are walking around in this realm, this earthly realm. And the difference between that and you going into another realm is vast. Okay, that's just say, and let's just cut it to the chase. So you're not literally popping out of your body like people think. Your spirit isn't leaving and all of a sudden something else is going to fill this void of the body. In my experience, you are very much aware that you're in your body, you're experiencing your body. You're even aware of whatever you're laying, if you're in bed, on a couch or whatnot. So I'll tell you about my first experience with this. When I started this journey in my 20s, I was very big into guides. And some of you, you know, this kind of, I can drop right here to you that I have a video about guides and my idea of it. I probably should do some other new videos or follow-up videos because I have a lot of new followers and such. Thank you, by the way. But it is really a concept. Guides are really, in a nutshell, is a collective whole, collective consciousness. But at the time, I really believed it was these individual beings, which they do separate themselves from this collective whole and consciousness into a, quote, form, physical form in a way. That we see, not like physical, like you can touch physical, but, you know, manifests into a human-like image sometimes, and sometimes it's a wizard, and sometimes it's a unicorn or whatever you're into. So guides tend to take that form. So anyway, let's move forward with my experience with astral projection. So I was on the couch, I was speaking to that realm like I had been doing a lot. And I had said, you know, I want to see this realm. I want to see you. I want to see the energies, you know, that I feel connected to. And all of a sudden, I felt completely like my body just froze up. I literally thought I was having a stroke, and I was very young at the time because I felt my body like, imagine sleep paralysis on steroids, because it wasn't just like sleep paralysis where people are sleeping and they feel like they can't wake up. I was fully awake. I was fully awake. I was having the feeling that I was having a stroke and I'm going to have to go and get some help. And I was crawling around on the floor looking for that help. I even tried to hit the TV with my hand. I could see the TV. I could see the whole apartment and I could feel myself. So I was very conscious and aware of feeling myself on the couch and trying to hit the TV, which I couldn't. And I was trying to speak, and we've all had dreams like this, but it wasn't like when you're in a dream and you're trying to run from someone or you're scared or something and you want to scream. It wasn't that. It was literally just, how do I operate? Also, I failed to mention that I did see two beings standing there, and I heard them say, you know, you have to figure it out or something like that. Like they wouldn't help me. And I also heard just let go, just, you know, let go and it'll be fine. They were very much friendly, but almost like when you have a teacher who's like, you know, you got to do the work. And so I was like crawling around on the floor and I was trying to hit the TV. And then I like crawled into, all the way into the person I was with at the time. He was sleeping and he rolled over with the blanket on him, like as I was trying to call his name. And then I felt a swoosh and was whoop, and sat up in the couch, on the couch. And I was completely freaked out because how did that happen? How was I walking around this apartment? Why couldn't I just get up? And all this kind of, you know, had all kinds of questions. I went into the room where the person I was with at the time sleeping, and asked him if he felt anything or sensed anything. And he said all he did was hear something say, "You can't help her, she has to learn," or something. He said he thought he heard me say something. It's like he was in a dream himself, or wake sleep, and he wasn't really into this sort of thing. So it wasn't like him to be like, "Oh yeah, there she is, just astral projecting all over the apartment," or anything like that. So it was a very strange experience. And I might have shared this before, but I wanted to kind of put it more in the context of astral projection so people understand I was in the room. Now let's flash back many years when I was very young. I was very, very young. I was probably like in my maybe like early 20s or maybe even younger. And I was with a friend and we spent the night somewhere, and it was these people's house. And I don't even remember the context of this place, of why we were there. It's like, you know, one of those things of, you can't remember. You're just like, oh yeah, but I remembered this. And that's the point. And we had spent the night, and I think they were kind of spiritual people, and I wasn't used to being around people like that. I grew up very religious, and that just wasn't like the type of people I was used to, like, you know, knowing. And so I think they were into stuff that I thought was like, ooh, you know, at the time. And I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I like found myself flying around a building. I knew that I was asleep again. Again, I was aware of my body. And I also knew that I was flying around this building. And I was like, wow, this is really trippy. But even then, I was like, is this it? You know, I'm flying around, like, what's the point? Like, I remember thinking, like, is there anything else going to happen? I'm flying around the building. Now what? And that was pretty much it. And then let's flash forward, boom, boom, boom. Flash, many, many years of me reading. About 10 plus years at this point I had been reading, and I was again on a couch. I actually had broke my foot at the time, and I suddenly just kind of fell out into like not just asleep, but more than asleep. And this wasn't me meditating. This wasn't me trying to do anything. Just like the very first time I had the experience, it kind of happened accidental. And I just, you know, all of a sudden jumped out, this time fully on my feet, which makes sense because I had been reading now for 10 plus years. So I was very well versed into this realm. And I'm on my feet standing there, and I see these two beings again. They looked dressed in black, but I've learned to understand that they're not literally dressed in black. They're just, I couldn't see them. It's almost like my sight just wasn't able to see them totally clear. And maybe I wasn't supposed to see them, but I feel like I just wasn't at that point yet. Even though I've been reading for so long, I'm still like, I'm 8 years now down the line from 10 years. And that's just how the sight works. It tends to grow and evolve as you hone it. And I just kind of swooshed past them, went to the door, could see my whole apartment, didn't really even pay attention to myself on the couch. I felt definitely more disconnected, but not like disconnected like you would think. Like I was aware of that, but I wasn't worried about it. So I went to the door and I said, hey, let's go. I knew it would be this easy, like almost like I finally got this down. And I heard a voice say, not today. And something grabbed my foot, and I came back into my body and I sat up. Now, again, you're not out of your body. Although this time, because when I found out what happened, I heard something say my foot was completely numb, and I heard something say you need to go to ER. Went to ER, they cut the cast open, and the cast was done incorrectly, and it was pushing on an artery. So yeah, so we all know they basically were like, if this went wrong, it could kill you. So I don't feel like I had a near-death experience, but I definitely feel that it's very close to that. It's hard to tell because of the kind of person I am, who can kind of jump into these spaces so easily. For someone else, this may be like a big, huge deal. And to me, I know it sounds strange, but it wasn't a big, huge deal. When I came back into myself, I was like, man, I got it so close. I was so close. I could see this realm and I wanted to explore it, but I feel like it turned out that I had gone too far. So that's to say this. When people are so worried that they're going to jump out of their bodies and something's going to jump in, trust me, this is really not a thing happening. You're not like this vessel that's just going to empty out because you decide to learn astral projection. The other thing is, you're not jumping into another realm. When I say another realm, as you can see, I'm talking about this realm. I was still in this realm. But what I mean by another realm is that I was able to see how I can be in this realm in a different form. And that's what it really means. It really means when you're talking about something beyond here, you're talking about being able to see what exists in our earthly realm. And we just don't pay attention. It's a world within a world. I don't know how many times I've said that. Probably too many, but it is. So it wasn't like I'm literally jumping into this other world. And I've seen people saying stuff like you can astral project into a book, into a whole different life. This is just not the case. I'm sorry to disappoint, but astral projection is kind of boring in all intents and purposes, but it's not, obviously. But I'm saying you're here. You're in this earthly realm. It's used to go around. You can walk around your house. You can, if you get good at it, maybe get a little further. But it really isn't about how to go into another realm. I know people want it to be, and maybe in today's times, it just is very appealing to the idea that maybe we can escape this place in a different way. I get it, but it's not that. And this is my experience, and I'm kind of able to do it sort of in another way when I'm doing readings and I'm doing medium readings, or even when I'm doing intuitive readings, because I can remote view, which isn't astral projection, but I understand the concept of traveling without traveling, if that makes sense. Seeing other things without having to actually physically do it. And the idea that you're literally going to pop up into a Alice in Wonderland storybook. Things like that. People who are promoting this idea that you can build a whole life, you could astral project yourself into a whole new life where you have a different job, where you have different friends, and you live this whole life and you're a different person. They are definitely mixing that up with the concept of multiple time or parallel universes and things like that. That is not astral projection. It's like comparing the idea of people who want to travel on a plane and saying they're going to space. They're just not the same thing. Okay? So one thing I wanted to say, that when you're looking into this sort of thing, be very careful where you're getting the sources from. When someone is saying, hey, it's me, I astral project, I'm Joe, you don't know me at all. You found me on TikTok. I'm 20 years old and I'm going to tell you that I astral project last night and I went into Alice in Wonderland and I was this whole other person, or I now have a job at this other place and I have a whole different life. That's just someone sharing an experience. That's not someone who's spent their life either studying something or dedicated to something or having tons and tons of years of experience and knowledge on something. I'm not saying it's like this because I'm like, only listen to me. I'm saying there are plenty of people out there who understand astral projection. There's even psychologists who study it. It's not just people who are in the spiritual world that understand this. There are some very well educated and people are studying things. And I would say, take all of this, mine, other people's opinions, people's experiences like mine. This is a form of expertise, this world for me, and people who study it, who are really reverent about it and honor it and look at all ends. And even with all of that, take a little of this, take a little of that, decide what works for you. It is not okay to listen to someone. I know it's exciting and it sounds cool, like, oh, this person had this experience. Not to mention you can just make things up on TikTok. You can just go, oh, hey, I have this life and I have this. So, you know, if there's not a laundry list of a lot of things you can find about this person, be leery. Lastly, how to do astral projection, which is I know people want to know. How do you astral project? It is something that you consciously make an effort to. Yes, you can try to use meditation as a way. Meditation is a little bit more grounding, but so is astral projection, believe it or not, like meaning it's more about this earth. It is good to do things like this if you're in a good space. It's not great to do things if you are not in a great space to do this, head space and energy and spiritual space. I know people use other types of forms of things to take to help them do this. That is a quick shot out, you know, into that realm. I get it. It's tempting to do that. People do that, but please be careful about what you're doing, who you're getting this information from. You're not hearing from me any encouragement on that, because I feel like you need to be really careful in knowing and understanding this sort of thing. However, you do need to intentionally focus on this, meaning you need to kind of let yourself have a belief and let yourself kind of drop into it, let it go. You may not know what's about to happen and you may not understand it, but that's part of the journey. Part of the journey is to kind of just let go and see what happens and enjoy the ride. And then you can figure it out afterwards. Hey, what did that mean? What was that about? That was interesting. I'm not so sure. It's part of the process. You can't find a list of ingredients of how do I astral project in 10 days or less. If you're looking at things like that, you're going to kind of miss the whole point of this. This is a feeling. This is an experience. This is a journey. So yes, you can meditate. You can even do this in the nature, by the way, but make sure that you are, like I said, in a good space. Put protection around you, meaning like you're making sure that the energy's clean, that you've cleansed the space, you cleansed yourself, that you're in a awareness. As I gave an example where I thought I was in that space, I was like, let's give this a go. And I did achieve it, but I was kind of not enjoying it and I was scared, which is fine. You can be scared while you're doing this. If you're waiting for the moment that you're going to not feel scared to start this journey, you'll be waiting forever. I only got to know fear out of years and years of honing and practicing. It didn't just come overnight. If you're not afraid, good for you. That's awesome. But make sure that when you're doing this sort of thing, you're doing it with a conscious mind. I will tell you from experience, because I used to teach classes in person and I still do classes online, but I can have people go on journeys and things like this and help people go on journeys. And I've helped people learn how to raise their vibration and push out of their consciousness, of their body. That my experience is that once people experience it, even though they say they're not afraid, they get like, whoa, that was crazy. But still, you should enjoy it. It's just the fear of unfamiliarity and the unknown and something new. It isn't going to be like the movies, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not going to suddenly have something just pop into your body and now you're a different person. We all know that movie, don't we? It's not going to happen, so don't be afraid. You're also not going to be able to just change your whole reality with it. But it is still an interesting way to kind of see this world through a different set of eyes, which is just your spirit eyes. Thank you guys so much. I'm still offering my 50% off of all my readings with the code PEACE. I did do an online seance and that was awesome. But last night, actually, I did a in-person seance last night when I'm recording this, I did an in-person seance with Mystic Dylan from The Witch and the Medium, and that was really awesome. Thank you to all those that attended. That I met some of you who watch me in here and have listened to my work. I so appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Follow yourself, follow no one, listen to that inner voice, and I'll see you soon.